softball. And now we've got boomerangs that have the carving done, but those boomerangs have to go to Brian to carve and smooth out and finish sand and put the lift foil in the back. But before we go into the carving process, I'd like to show you what the control room looked like for Ingersoll Rand. We turned it into a print shop.
Shopping for American-made gifts is one way to grow our economy.
That's right, but finding toys with the label Made in America can be difficult to do. The same can be said for games that don't plug in or require batteries, but a company in Charleroi is bucking the trend. Contributor Dave Crowley has the story of Channelcraft and the return of the American toy.
This quiet borough on the banks of the Marne once boomed with homegrown industry, but the mills of Charleroi have gone silent. The population has dropped by more than half. And yet, just across the tracks, a plain brick building on Monongahela Avenue still heeds the call, Made in America. Sons and daughters of Mon Valley steelworkers now make their living with wood. They handcraft toys, puzzles, and games of a simpler time, before the age of plastic. No batteries, no plugs, and the centerpiece is a humble design that dates back thousands of years.
Today we're creating boomerangs. Tomorrow we'll be creating boomerangs, and next year this time we'll be creating boomerangs.
Dean Helfer is the founder and president of Channelcraft. His company moved into the former Army Corps of Engineers facility in 1991, but he started out in 1983 as a one-man operation, making boomerangs on his grandfather's equipment in the back of this old van.
This was my first shop. This 1972 Ford Stepside van was my home and my vehicle and my wood shop on the move. I could craft boomerangs at every bluegrass festival or arts festival up and down the eastern seaboard. I could live in there and create my craft in the back, sell out of the back, and then move on to the next town.
It is permanently parked outside his office window.
I'm not going to give it up. It stood here, it's withstood 2 floods, and one day I hope to bronze it.
The boomerangs are fashioned from sheets of Baltic birch, and it doesn't stop with boomerangs.
It goes from a working train whistle to a beautiful working train whistle. I can toot my own horn.
The business does have its ups and downs.
You call it the string-a-jig. Just wind it up, give it a pull, let it recoil, and pull and recoil, and there you have a 2-handed yo-yo.
It's all in the wrist and in the hands of workers who turn out more than 100 different toys.
Val is creating a slaughter game, which will look like this by the time it's finished. It's one of the neatest little tabletop coin games that started with a science project of a 12-year-old in California.
Made in America, start to finish. At a time when 90% of children's toys are made in China, Employees like Rob Hogue of Bethel Park stand out.
When I took a job here in college and found out things were America, it made me really proud to go in stores and see very few things made in America, and we do it right here in Charleroi.
Kristen Franks of Bell Vernon has 7 nieces and nephews to shop for.
It's hard to find something American made in this area that's not ours.
Jennifer Connolly of Ellsworth has been crafting toys here for more than 20 years. Her handiwork has made her popular with kids.
Actually, I tell them that I have good connections with Santa Claus and that I'm the chief elf. So all the little kids tell me what their wishes are, and we tell them to the Santa.
Many of the games use marbles from a West Virginia factory, again, made in America.
There's rainbows and cat's eyes, frosties and pearlies. These marbles are all made with 100-year-old machinery, the same way they were when our grandfathers were little kids. These toys are timeless. These are the toys that can be passed down to the generations. And these are the toys that are enjoyed by adults as well as children. They don't wear out.
Perhaps the toy that best exemplifies that passage through time is the limited edition Monticello Heirloom Hobby Horse. It's crafted from the wood of a fallen tulip poplar tree which stood on the grounds of Thomas Jefferson's home in Charlottesville, Virginia for nearly 200 years.
And now we're assembling them onto the stick, putting the reins, the leather reins on them, and now Linda's putting the hand tag with the history of Thomas Jefferson's tulip poplar and Monticello.
These are toys with the charm and texture of history. But will 19th century playthings really hold the attention of 21st century kids?
Put your finger up on the top, point to where you want it to go, and release it with a little snap.
Quay Park in Beaver. Youngsters learn the same playtime skills as their parents and grandparents before them.
Toys and games like these have been around for generations, but for kids raised on video games, this is all brand new.
These time-honored games are a novelty to young Elizabeth Collings.
I'm pretty sure they've been done before. I just haven't really done them.
Try to put them a little bit further apart.
Channel Craft's Shelley Vinson says these toys transport kids from the computer screen to a wider frame of reference.
You can play them outside, which is always nice. You can play them with your whole family, which is great, and they're just much more, it's getting back to the basics. We call them edutainment, so they have a learning aspect in addition to actually being fun too, so that's always good.
Push your thumb right to it. Look at it and push your thumb right to it.
There is a learning curve, but Robbie Liggett says it doesn't take long to get the hang of it.
They're like really cool. Give a kid something else to do than just sit around and play video games all day.
They are more creative and using your brain. You're moving around, you're active. You're not sitting on the couch with a Xbox controller in your hand.
And what's this? Checkers on an actual game board?
It's hard though, because you make the wrong move and then sometimes they're double jumps.
Speaking of jumps, you don't have to be a kid. Ali Gomez says it's best to take games like these outside.
I get to hop, and sometimes I never get to hop in my house because everything starts crashing.
There's no brain, there's no battery, there's no computer chip in there.
The entrepreneur has come a long way since the days when he sold boomerangs from the back of his van.
We'll do 50 to 60,000 boomerangs. We'll do tens of thousands of jacks games, hundreds of thousands of tops, whistles, and kazoos.
Around the corner from the park at Castle Toys and Games,
my employees would be playing games on the counter, and if we're playing things like jacks, the kids are amazed with the ball and picking up the jacks, and they've never seen that before, and so they want to learn what the game is about.
With the motion of throwing a baseball, step into it and snap it out.
Dean Helfer remains a kid at heart. That simple piece of wood sparked a business that has soared to new heights. in the hands of American workers.
Step into it like you're throwing a baseball in from the outfield and pop it out. There you go. Now you're going to catch it. Here it comes. Pretty good.
Coming back to the toys of generations past and present. I'm Dave Crawley.
Channelcraft toys have proven to be recession-proof. More than 80% of its games and toys cost less than $10. You can find them online or at independent toy and hobby shops throughout Western Pennsylvania.
24 hours after our report last night about how $64 of holiday money could change everything for American workers, there is a movement underway tonight, and from Dallas to Minneapolis to Pittsburgh, you said, count us in. And again, it's not about buying all your gifts made in America. What about just one? Here's our champion of Made in America, anchor David Muir.
So you're in.
We're in.
You heard them here. The Usries of Dallas are in, ready for the challenge this time, armed with those new numbers. The average American spends $700 on Christmas gifts, holiday gifts. Remember, the economists who told us just $64 of that, less than 10% on gifts made in America, we'd create 200,000 jobs right now.
Would you be willing to take your $64 and find something American?
Absolutely.
Cue the Andy Williams. Because the Usries are just the beginning. We're about to hop into our own red sleigh, that Ford pickup, dressed up by the family. We were off. Anna in the front seat, those backseat drivers too, all pointing me in the right direction. Right. The first stop.
So these are the
Tokars family.
This poor family.
The Usries didn't need us to make the case.
The average American spends about $700.
And she told them just 64 of that on something American.
So you're in.
We're in.
You're in.
Okay, here we go. Point, tell me
Back in the truck, next stop, the chances.
I got some crazy numbers for you guys.
And that question,
are you in?
We're in.
And it's not just Dallas, it's Minneapolis too. Remember Nordic Wear?
Am I handling it right?
Those bunt pans then, look at them now, red and green. Today, workers telling World News they can't ask all of us to buy something made in America unless they're in too. And in California, the swim team, made up of those baby boomers, so determined this year to find American swimsuits. Now, swim captain Helen Marshall's not only at the pool, she's driving to church. Even the organ stopped. Helen is serious.
Yes, ABC is here.
It wasn't long before we asked, are you in? And then there's Pittsburgh, that toy maker Sharon found this year, Channelcraft Toys. The elves here not only making American, they're buying American, showing us what they have found already.
I found a portable basketball system made in America, and I'm in.
Majestic Bells wind chimes are made in America, and I'm in.
I buy my socks made in the USA, I'm in.
So just 24 hours later, we're off and running. Remember, just one item made in America.
Dallas is in!
And it won't always be easy, especially when it comes to helping Santa.
What would you like me to bring you for Christmas?
Little Ellis, who told us she wants another American Girl doll.
Where is it made?
China.
Now, the kids have written those lists to Santa.
Yeah.
Right. But how much of that list is even anything you can find in America?
Stumped, not stopped, the Usries are in.
Stumped, but they are up for the challenge. Remember, it's just one thing. These are the emails, the tweets that came into Diane and me just in the last 24 hours. And Diane, look at the video wall tonight. This is our Facebook, both of our pages, and abcnews.com. The ideas coming in real time.
Everybody has great ideas for your Christmas tree out there. Thank you, David. And we want you to know we're going to read all of them. And as we do, we're going to add more lights on our Christmas tree online for all the companies, products, ways you are getting involved. Let's get that tree beaming and head to abcnews.com/worldnews to do it. Share the gifts you found you love, you think others might love too.